to my review for this week's episode of Vigilantes, man. Another banger episode once again with this episode, ladies and gentlemen, man. We actually got Angel Kade on this episode, man, which was great to see him, man. I actually ended up seeing his cuts on Twitter because he posted his Gengas for. I was like, oh cool, he's on the episode, because I didn't check leaks or anything about oh, who's on the cast, who's on the I was like, no, I didn't check. I didn't look at any cast leaks or anything. Here's don't actually did post leaks for this episode or not, because I didn't even bother checking. But that was pretty cool. That was a pleasant surprise to see Angel Kade. Got to do some cool explosions in the episode as well, man. And yeah, we got to see more of number 6. We finally get a bit more of how his quirk works. It seems that this bro not only is a speedster, but he's also got Zawurudo. Or, he's just like Quicksilver in, the Foxman movies. With all I was missing was the music. And then it would have been perfect. It's the day on anyway. I do wonder if that was if that's was based off, or he got the idea for that whole sequence from the Quicksilver scenes from the Foxman. Which remember, this manga started posting in 2017. So this would have been around the time the Foxman movies were still coming out. So there's a good chance he might have got inspired from either Days of Futures Past or Apocalypse. Was there one in Dark Phoenix too? I don't remember. Anyway, let's see. Anyway, guys, let's jump right in and see what we got. So we start the episode off with some recap from the last episode, interspliced with some new footage with Stuka Uchi kind of explaining how the supply chain works. They're basically going through legal channels, like the crab shipments to sneak in their contraband so it can get in and out with it being undetected and no one's the wiser, basically. So after the OP, we finally start the episode proper. We're back with Monaco. She's behind some cover while the crab mech dudes are loading up some stuff. She's like, hey guys, blah, 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 blah. There's a tracking issue or something, so she gotta go and make some less. So she gotta go and take some checks. So she grabs some scanner and starts scanning the barcodes, looking for anything that's out of the ordinary. She ends up finding one that's some special delivery VIP thing, and it was section D when they only had A through C, if I remember correctly. So bingo, she found. She opened it and there's nothing, just regular old crabs and cooling packs, until she knows that the cooling packs are different sizes. So that's the most they're sneaking the contraband through the black cooling pack. Given they're different from the rest, I'm assuming the black ones are the contraband. Whatever the contraband is, whether it's trigger or who knows what else. So she finds it, she reports back, and then number 6 comes in there. I remember when I was watching, wait, ain't that number 6? Because he looked familiar because of the backwards hat and everything. But I'm it didn't really sound like Aaron. He didn't have the scar, so I was what's going on? And there isn't an inexplicable shadow covering his face, even though there's no way that would actually work. Well, that makes no sense. That makes no sense lighting-wise. But he's oh, did you open that, man? Now we can't deliver it. And she's telling him to fuck off, let her do her job. And then this is when she pulls out her piece and starts pointing it. And this is when, and she said she's reporting in that there's a suspicious character, found the bags. And this is when we find out that it is indeed number 6. The shadow has returned. The inexplicable shadow is on his face, man. The scar has appeared. Don't know how that works, but maybe it's in relation to a speedster quirk. We do not know yet at this current moment, ladies and gentlemen. So the number 6 yeets out of there, man, with her gun as well as the iPad, or tablet, I guess I should say, and starts running away. This is when she reports in that the guy took the tablet as well as her gun. Fat Gum comes out of the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man, ready, and with the rest of the cops right behind him, man, as they all get their guns out, man, telling everyone to freeze, including, as Fat Gum points out, including you, number 6. So he ends up dropping the gun, and then with one of his hands, or with his free hand, he uses his speedster quirk, whatever this thing actually is, and starts typing on the tablet like crazy. Somehow McGain can complete control of the mechs, so now that they are now completely automatic and doing whatever he programmed them to do. Plus we also find out that these crafts have a self-destruct feature on them. Okay, I just need to ask this right now here, ladies and gentlemen, why, when you are building some mechs or forklifts or machinery like these things meant for people to use, to grab boxes and transport goods and transport cargo and such, why would you add a self-destruct feature to these mechs? I feel like that is an incredible safety hazard to include a self-destruct button on it, or have a feature where it can self-destruct. That just does not make any sense to me. Why, logistically, that just seems like a lawsuit waiting to happen, to have these things be able to explode. You know what I mean? Very bizarre, very bizarre. But anyway, man, the antennas on them start to glow pink. They start to gain. They like I said, they become completely automatic, and then they both start attacking Fat Gum. While we then go back to the mall with Pop Step-Man, and it seems like her fans are booing because this dude's talking while she's on the mech, and they just want to see her or something, man. You would definitely hear some boos while the dude is trying to like say whatever he needs to say about the crabs. So Pop's like, I just want to go home, and then the lights on her mech start to light up, and of course it starts to become atomic as well. So then Fat Gum's ready to start punching these, and then of course Monaco has to remind, hey, there's still civvies on them, you know, don't hurt them. So Fat Gum works his way to get to hold them down, and then Monaco gets on top of them and slices off the harnesses on both of them so they can both escape. We find out that the whole snip thing she does isn't just a gimmick because they're because they sell crabs. That's genuinely how her quirk works, where if she can fit something with her fingers, she can snip it like scissors. How exactly her quirk works, I don't know, because as far as I could tell from this episode, she doesn't seem to have any blades or any sort of sharp objects protruding through her fingers. So I'm not exactly sure how she's able to cut through solid metal. But hey, whatever. I guess it's just how her quirk works. And as we see later on in the episode, she can do that with her legs as well. So, you know, very versatile quirk, but like, doesn't really make sense how it actually works. Like, what exactly is she cutting? Is it just through sheer force of will and strength in her fingers? Does she have some like blades coming out of it or something? Like, how is she doing this? Whatever the case may be, Fat Gum takes care of the mechs, and then she mentions Fat Gum mentions like, hey, won't there be any issue with you using your core as a cop? She's like, yeah, I gotta do some additional paperwork for that. We then come back to Tsuchiuchi with 7, and this is where 2 more of the mechs, I think the mechs that we saw that Fat Gum just start crab walking their way over to the truck. Nobody even bothers to try, so they just sit there and watch it happen. But then again, I guess they know what the hell that was happening. And then the 2 crabs blowing up the truck, and obviously getting rid of all the evidence. This is when we get to Angel Kade's cut, where he does the opening bit of it, then we see it again once we come back from commercial, which we also got to see the return of the commercial bumpers this episode, man, with a new one with Fat Gum and Monato, which is really fucking cool, man. This might be my favorite one out of the ones we've seen so far. This one was really fucking cool. I love the look of it, man. The bits of red, obviously, you guys know red is my favorite color, so I'm a bit biased in that, man. But that was really cool to see, man. Why Studio B doesn't just use these every week, I do not know. Because I love these so much, I don't know why they just don't just continuously use them. And it's only like an episode here, then we're not seeing it, then an episode there. Like they only use it for random episodes. They don't just use it for the entire show. I don't know if it's because they do it when they need extra time in the episode. That's when they'll put them in there, man. Or when they film more of the episode with actual, you know, animation and plot. That's why they get rid of them so they can spare the extra, like, 10 seconds it takes to add some more to the episode. I don't know why they do that. It's really annoying. I just wish they did this for every episode because these are so fucking cool. Anyway, so the truck blows up, and like I said, this was Angel Kade's cut. Great work, man. Great explosions, animation, man. Looked fantastic. Like I said, he posted again on his Twitter, so there you go. And so of course, and then once again, Seven speeds off, and now he's farther back, closer to where the gate is. Now, one thing I found was kind of weird is that nobody in this episode calls him a speedster, except that's exactly what he is, unless we find out some reveal how Quirk actually is and technically isn't a speedster. But I'm like, they feel like he has like some super speed Quirk or like a speed Quirk, and I'm like, he's a speedster. Why don't you just call him a speedster? Does DC have some trademark on speedsters that I'm unaware of or something? Like, why don't they just call him a speedster? It's a bit bizarre. I don't know about you guys, but I found that a bit bizarre. Then we come back to the mall where Pop Step is like rushing through, like is just running through souls with the mech, and she's like, ah! Which I believe we saw this cut was in the trailer as well. We saw this in the trailers, and this is done by, because this was a really well done sequence, done by an animator by the name of Yoko Kamdo Kami is the presumed animator for this cut. But yeah, great work, man. I really like the storyboarding here with like the perspective of it with Pop when she's like running through the stalls, man. I really like the perspective here, man. Great work. Anyway, so she's running through it. Koichi's, or rather, Fat Gum and Monaco are trying to chase after him. She's telling Fat Gum to run faster, and he's saying that this is his top speed. Fat ass, bro, you need to hit the gym, man. Get some better legs, get your cardio. I don't know what you gotta do, man, because the speed ain't cutting. But Koichi ends up just blitzing right through him, man, and gets on top of the mech to help out Popstep with his new All Might hoodie he got from when he got thrown into some cardboard boxes. Another limited edition All Might hoodie for Koichi to add to the collection. You love to see it. Popstep screaming at him to help her, and then we cut back over to number 6 once again as he starts running towards the other. Once again, uses his speedster quirk again to get basically right in front of him, man. But then, right when he starts running away again, Tsukauchi manages to graze him in the leg, taking him down, and the rest of the cops are on his ass, both literally and figuratively. And this is when he activates Stop Plandamu Zawudo! He activates the world, and then I also like the CRT scan light filter they added here when you see characters actually moving while they're in the slow motion thing. I thought that was a nice touch here. But yeah, like I said, this feels like either A, this is a JoJo reference to Zawudo! Either it's a JoJo reference or it's a reference to the Quicksilver sections from the Fox movies, from Days of Futures Past, X-Men Apocalypse. Dark Phoenix 2 might have had one. I don't remember Dark Phoenix had one as well, but at least Days of Futures Past as well as Apocalypse. He grabs their gun, he finds that they're using rubber bullets, and then just starts shooting everybody with their guns, with the rubber bullets, man, and then eventually makes his escape. I really like also this one shot where the camera's rotating around Tsukauchi as we see number 6 coming to his side to grab his gun, then shoots him in the side with his body armor, man. Really nice work, man. I really like this filter they added here, man. Now, this begs the question, what the fuck is Power X? Because from season 1, you guys are like, oh, he must just be a speedster like the Flash. Now we know this brother can stop time like he has the world from JoJo, or or maybe it's meant to be more like Quicksilver with his sequences or not. But either way, man, this definitely made things more interesting with number 6, and I'm curious to see what his power actually is whenever that gets revealed. Maybe later this season, maybe we'll have to wait till he gets his actual villain costume to know what his actual quirk is. Maybe that'll be in season 3 or something. I don't know. You guys know I'm an anime only, and I've seen next to nothing from the manga Vigilantes, so I'm pretty much going through this entire thing blind. But anyway, we cut back to Koichi once again. He finds this lever that I'm assuming is meant to be like a kill switch for the mech or whatever that says pull up. He's pulling at it, but of course it does jack shit. And then Maz says they have to do the move, which I do wonder if this is meant to be a reference to the cannonball move or whatever it's called between Colossus and Wolverine from the comics. No idea if it is or isn't, but that just kind of popped in my head while I was watching this part of the episode, man. Either way, man, anyway, Fat Gum grabs her, or rather she grabs Fat Gum's arm, and he just yeets her across the hall and eventually manages to get to the mech and slices off his leg, which is where President Mike then says that she can also wear that her quirk also works on her legs. So they finally get some Pop, because Zep is spinning on the ground. They finally catch up to her. She gets the harness off her so Pops can get out. The lights start blinking red, so it's obviously about to self-destruct. Fat Gum rushes, or rather, before we get to Fat Gum, everyone's told to run like hell, haul ass, it's about to blow up. So, and Koichi tells Pops to just use her quirk and get the fuck out. So he starts running away. She's just about to use it, but then she slips on a paper and then just sits there while Koichi then runs back to grab her. Don't know why she couldn't just get back up and then use her quirk. Why she just kind of sat there. It's not like she broke. I mean, there was no indication that she was concussed or broke or sprained her leg or nothing. She just kind of sat there. Listen, you guys know me. I'm a Koei Pop shipper. I'll always enjoy moments like this between these two, but I'm like, I feel like she could have at least just gone back up and just ran. I get time is at the end, but I feel like she could have just jumped out of the way, anyway. But whatever the case may be, Koichi manages to grab, but for some reason he's still sliding back. For some reason, even though I'm pretty sure his quirk operates and needs 3 points of contact, which he had, and he can just stop mid-movement, I think. Unless there's something wrong with the floor, there's some other aspect of his quirk that I'm forgetting about. He just kept sliding backwards and just didn't stop, even though I feel like he probably could. I don't know. I may be misremembering how Koichi's quirk was, but I'm pretty sure they mentioned how he could stop on a dime if he wants to, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, Fat Gum rushes over there and gets on top of the mech, absorbs the blast, and then tells everyone to run away because he has to get this shit out, and then eventually, explodes. So after the explosion, we see Fat Gum in his normal form, ripped out like he ripped as he always is, man. Bro is absolutely shredded. It's kind of insane, man. And he's like, whoo! just barely had enough fat. I nearly ate it there, so he's good, but barely. And then we see him rushing, I'm assuming, to their stand while he's like chowing down on some rice to help start building up some more fat. And of course, the manager is asking Monaco, like, what the hell's happening? Where has she been? Why does she have a cop with her? He's asking all these questions, and seemingly I'm assuming she answers and tells him that she's a cop. I don't know if she will or not, but I'm just kind of assuming, considering how much he's just asking what she said, she'll let him know. So then Koichi and Pop are like, hey, we should probably get going. We stay here with the cops. We'll miss our train. Then she's like, yeah, I know. And then Koichi has like, if you want to call your parents and let them know that you're late. And she's like, I'd rather keep them out of this, man. And so they're kind of like deliberating. The dude sees them. He's like, you know what, you guys can just go on ahead. So they run off, and then they run off, and then Monaco is like, wanting to go. Why'd you let them go? We needed them as witnesses. They weren't going to be in any trouble. And then they hands him a business card to Suguchi, which is of course Makoto's business card. So obviously they're going to call her to probably get their statements as witnesses from Koichi and Pop's dad. So that should be interesting. And then we come back to Koichi and Pop, and we get to see the Koichi mobile, where it's literally Pop step on top of Koichi with like her bag between her legs and his back as he's just riding them off to the train station. It's a really funny visual, man. I hope we see more of the Koichi mobile, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the only time we get to see this. They get to the train, and like we get the more I don't know what type of music, the more happy, romantic, whatever you want to call this type of music. Slow music's playing. Pop is staring out the window, be like, "Hey, Koichi," and I'm like listening to this. I'm like, he's like dead asleep. Watch, he's dead asleep, and that's exactly what happened. Bro is dead asleep. He's like, ugh, I'm so full. Of course, Pop is a little pissed off. She's like, whatever, sure. And that is where the episode ends, ladies and gentlemen. Now, unfortunately, a big Koei Pop moment ended up getting cut from this episode, man. And now, I didn't know this, but I saw a tweet about this. Like, I want to say either yesterday or maybe like right after the previous episode had come out, where we saw this shot of where Koichi and Pop are like sleeping next to each other on the train with like their heads on top of each other, man. Really nice moment. I honestly was kind of waiting for it so I could make it the new the new profile pic for my daily Koei Pop Twitter account I just started. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys would know I started a Koei Pop Twitter account mostly just to see if I could get the ship some extra, just to help to get the ship some more momentum. I figured it would help. So far, I made a couple tweets, man. Have made zero traction on that account, man. To be fair, the Blue Extra Soccer account also took a bit, but I feel like I got at least a little bit more traction on that one a lot quicker. So I'll leave a link to the Twitter account down below if you guys want to go follow it, man. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping it just gets big enough to where I can hand it off to somebody else that's way more of the fandom mindset that could probably get more use out of this account and maybe can make it a bit better than I could, because, I'm really just there just to post, just as a glorified excuse, to post all the screenshots of Koei Pop I take while I'm getting screenshots from the episode to use for the thumbnail, man. I practically get all their shots. Anyway, guys, so yeah, if you guys want to follow that account, I'll leave a link to that. If I remember, I'll leave a link to it in the description box below so you guys can go follow that account and maybe hopefully we can get some traction on that account. But yeah, but there is another scene from this episode that I could use to replace it instead, man, that I'll probably use, but I was kind of hoping to use that shot from the trailer. But maybe they're just pushing it back to episode 3 and that's where we get to see it, man. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see for sure next week. Speaking of next week, man, we got the next episode preview for this episode, man, and in here we actually get to see All Might. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, All Might gets to make his first appearance in Vigilantes in his true form, which I'm really excited to see what that's about, man. And like, what's that gonna happen? What's that gonna entail? That's really exciting, man. It looks like we got some more number 6 in there as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see the next episode, man. It looks like we get some really cool stuff in this episode. Anyway, guys, let's get this video off. Overall, I give this episode a 9 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social if you feel like it. Links are across below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.